Hello everyone, welcome on in. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Ash, and if you are returning, welcome on back. So we are getting into something new today, which if many of you don't already know, I am a licensed cosmetologist. I have been licensed for 10 years. 8 of those years I've been behind the chair full time. So yeah, I'm bringing another passion to my content creating that I have been doing now for about 4 years now. And yeah, so I wanted to bring this and my knowledge to all of you as well. And what better way to do it than through salon horror stories? Yes. Honestly, I come across many of these topics, especially on Reddit, Twitter, everything, where even as a cosmetologist, I can definitely sit there and say when a stylist is in the wrong for it, or I could give my opinion on whether I think a client is in the wrong for what they're doing or what they said. So that's kind of the gist of what we're getting into. If you do enjoy this video, please consider giving a huge thumbs up. Also subscribe if you'd like to. And if you want to be notified when I do upload here on YouTube, go ahead and ring that bell. And come follow me over on Kick. I'd really appreciate it. And let's go. If you do come across these videos and you're like, hey, that's me, by all means, please let me know. If ever, now I'm guessing that this is more along the lines of clients, so we're going to go into that. If I'm ever feeling too confident and need to humble myself, I go to a salon. Damn, they tell you your hair is disgusting, your legs are too hairy, your skin is too textured, whatever that is. What are your stories? Did you ever get body shamed at a salon? Did they ever cut your hair too short, lie to you, mess up your hair color? Okay, first and foremost, let me just tell y'all right now, if you go into a salon and they say any of those things in that sort of manner, run, okay? Do not stay at that salon. I've worked at, well, 2 salons, and one of them was for 3 years and the other was for 5. None of that time did I ever experience any of the stylists telling somebody that their hair is disgusting, their legs are too hairy, or their skin is too textured. That never ever happened. So when that comes down to it, that all comes down to how they're trained, their personalities as a whole. And by all means, if it were me sitting in that chair and they said any of those things, I would walk right out. And so let's go. This story was from Drunken Monkey. This was 2 years ago. Okay, your legs are too hairy. A few years ago, I fell terribly sick for 3 months and was in and out of the hospital very frequently during that period. So obviously, there was no way for me to visit the salon. Once I recovered, I went in for a wax with my 3 months of grizzly bear legs. Blame it on my genes. I feel ya. I am the same type of way. I shave every other day, not for the I just personally, I don't want to shave every single day, but I could because I get super hairy and this is just a preference for me because I like having smooth legs. But my genes are the same way, but I have naturally thick hair growth. Yes. So you can imagine. The waxing lady told me off rudely that there's too much hair on my legs. I explained to her that I was sick for a long time, which is why I couldn't come in earlier. She was like, but you could have shaved or asked someone to do it for you. I was practically speechless at that point of the time. She was so brutal on my legs. I never went back to that salon. Okay. This is the thing that I feel like some stylists, now this may have been an esthetician or it could have been a cosmetologist because depending on state, you are licensed for waxing as well. But in this sort of predicament or setting, for one, I don't blame you for not going back. Like I said, as a cosmetologist, my number one thing was always making sure that my client felt welcomed, felt, confident sitting in my chair with my abilities and confident when they left the salon with my abilities and the outcome of how everything worked. Number one thing that we always learn, especially at school, not saying that this is the thing that will always get people to come back to you is kindness. they will more than likely 98% of the time rebook with you. So in this scenario, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, and this person, you know, felt the need to just make you feel down when you are already at a low point because you've been in and out of the hospital, which is physically exhausting. Sure, your mental wasn't, you know, where you wanted it to be at whatsoever. So a lot of times people go to the salon to make themselves feel better, make themselves feel human again. So I'm sorry that this had happened to you. Shame on that, you know, esthetician or that cosmetologist that put you through that. And hey, like I said, I'm very proud of you for not rebooking with them, and hopefully they're not like that with anybody else. But if this is the case and you've been going there frequently and they were just mad that you hadn't been in for a while, I'm sure you're not the only person that they treat this way, and this just isn't the career for them. So my oh my. All right, so we got another one by Not Masoom. This was again 2 years ago. Bro, I went for a trim once. Oh no. I always know that these like trim stories can definitely be not good. My hair was literally so long that it was below my, but he trimmed it and it was suddenly above my shoulders. No. I was crying and wailing in the salon. I'm still trying to grow them out. I know it sounds dramatic, but I was literally so sad for 4 months after that haircut. It was just last October. I was mentally in a really bad place. I had lost four blood relatives in COVID. Thought a haircut will pick me up, but it was my last straw, and I spent 4 months crying in bed. So, like, a big you to that guy. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that a lot of times hair can be a security blanket for a lot of people. And if there's anyone telling you that you're being dramatic over a haircut or anything along those lines, listen, you could be as dramatic as you want to be. And honestly, you could cry as much as you want, anything along those lines, because you know what? It's been you that's been growing that out. I have seen and I've heard horror stories of people going in for trims and then ending up with 8 inches of hair cut off when that wasn't the agreement. So in terms of that, the only thing that I could think of in this situation is possibly, now correct me if I'm wrong, because this happens from time to time, and this could definitely be not it, but sometimes clients would come in and be like, hi, they would be like, okay, so what we're doing, I just want all the dead ends cut off. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is dead ends, when you have split ends, your hair continuously splits up until you completely cut them off. If you go in and you have split ends that go up to here, but you're only wanting like an inch cut off, your hair is going to continue to split. So in this case, not saying that this is what had happened, or I'm not siding with either one, because my heart goes out to them for, you know, not only having that happen, but also losing family members. So the thing that I could honestly think of is just possibility of cutting split ends, and that's what came about. Although I don't think if that's how long your hair was and then it ended up above your shoulders, then there was definite possibility of this stylist just not caring. Because always before I ever cut somebody's hair, I would double and triple check with them. If they were like, I want 2 inches cut off, I would then be like, okay, this is what 2 inches looks like. You know, I'd hold out my hand and be like, okay, so 2 inches is about this. Now let me show you on your hair. 2 inches in the back, normally in the front, is where you thin the most. So up front, you more than likely have more breakage, and it looks always a little bit shorter. So if you have layering in the front or anything and you want 2 inches off your layering, then obviously it's going to look shorter up front than what it is in the back. I know this is a lot of information, but I'm just trying to try to base this with you. So I would then show them in the back, this is what 2 inches looks like. And then I would also show in the front and be like, okay, if we're going to be layering in the front and you kind of just want it cleaned up, this is what it's going to be like. But if you want 2 inches off those layers as well, and then we go back in and blend it through, this is what it's going to look like. Double, triple check, let them know, okay, then this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you. And I would always too, because you could have a mirror, and I would always take the mirror. I'd be like, this is what it looks like where we're going to be cutting to. And I'd turn them around so that they could see through the mirror. And then we'd agree. And that's how it went about. So this scenario sounds like there was in no way, there may have been some miscommunication. I'm sorry that you had to go through that because like I said, I understand completely that hair could be such a security blanket, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And shame on the stylist. I mean, as far as it goes, if they didn't double and triple check with you that this is what you wanted, especially when people want big change, I will sit there and I will say, are you sure? Now, this is what it's going to be. We're cutting off eight inches of hair. Do you know that this is going to, and then, once we agree, okay, that's fine. We can't put that hair back on that's on the floor now. We can't, unless you want to do extensions, but that's a whole nother process and also appointment. So yeah, that I could honestly, I see that as being the last straw because I feel you on that. I would be sitting there crying. Okay, our next one and our last one. This is finally going to be our last one. March 2020. This is by Queen Llama. I went to in Bandra West, and I wanted an ombre, light brown to blonde. My natural hair is light brown, so I didn't really need a ton of bleachings to do this. I picked a darker blonde shade. Okay. What I instead got was a fucking stripe of hideous orange on the bottom half of my hair. There were also flecks of orange near my roots because they splattered the bleach there. I was charged $10K. What? Oh my What? No, $10K for your hair? Oh my gosh, what? Okay, I'm sorry. I know I sound dramatic, but $10,000 for your hair. No way. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're waking up a little bit. They told me to come back the next day so they could fix it. So I went and asked them to do a global dark brown so I could just be done with it. The dude who did my hair insisted that he could blend the orange and then took the darkest brown dye possible and tried to paint over the line that was there in my hair. He also splattered this on the bleached parts, so parts of my hair looked polka dotted. It was so bad. The first time I went, they did deep conditioning at the end of the coloring session. Usually hair color doesn't stick to freshly conditioned hair. It needs to be washed before if that's the case. Not necessarily true. When I went in for the fixing, I told him to wash my hair once and he was like, no, it's not needed. As expected, the dark brown shade didn't stick very well at all, and the result was patchy as fuck. Man, I was so done by the end of that, I walked out. Thankfully, lockdown began 1 week later, so no one saw my hair. I tried to see if growing it out would fix it, but it was just so bad I ended up shaving my entire head. Now I have my natural hair back and a lot of hair dye PTSD. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a lot to unfold here. Ombre was a thing that a lot of stylists, because it got very popular when I got out of beauty school. So ombre was the new thing. And so of course, a lot of people, a lot of stylists, older, younger, just getting out of beauty school, this was something that they had just heard about and were about to do and trying to learn. It is a very, very tough technique to hit. Sometimes people would come in and be like, I want this ombre done, but a lot of it was balayage or possibly baby lights, highlights. Depending on what you saw, you kind of had to dissect it. So it's like, okay, what about this is what you like? What about this is what you don't like? That sort of thing. It's the conversation that you have with your client before going into things. From the sounds of this, it just sounds like the stylist was not wasn't educated enough in order to do this. And again, like I said, Unfortunately, we don't learn everything and we're not experts when we come out of beauty school. So we have to learn in the salon. And sometimes that comes with a lot of hiccups, a lot of oopses, and a lot of things that, are not good. So yeah, you sit there with, the possibility. The thing I don't understand, your natural hair is a light brown, so you didn't need to get a ton of bleaching to do this. Correct. If your hair is a natural light brown, this does not mean that you just colored your hair last year and then, you're coming to get your hair done. So some of it still has artificial dye in it, and then, you have an outgrowth of your natural hair. Natural hair is everything, has absolutely zero color on it, because when you use a permanent color on your hair, it's still there a year later. It doesn't go anywhere. So with this, especially hearing that there's orange in there, either you did have artificial hair color still on your hair, or they didn't use the correct developer on your hair, and they didn't leave it on for the right amount of time. So this can definitely cause for the orange. This can also, depending on their technique, they didn't saturate it enough, so that's where your blotchiness and spots come in. The pattern of how they did it wasn't there. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But the thing that sticks out to me the most, $10,000. Now, I don't know if that was a typo and you meant 1,000, but oh my goodness, in no way, shape, or form could I ever imagine charging somebody $10,000. 1,000 is one thing, depending, because sometimes people are there for 12 hours, depending on color corrections, everything that comes into it. You don't know what somebody has on their head. They could tell you night and day, like what they do to their hair, what they have on their hair. That is why test strands are the thing that you need to do before doing anything, especially if somebody is new there and they want something like a change like this and you're using bleach. You never know how bleach is going to react with artificial color, especially if you didn't do this person's hair before. So my goodness, a lot of this, see, in this sort of scenario, what I would have done if, for instance, like if I had done this to you and your hair came out like this or anything, for one, yes, I would have you come back the next day. This is something y'all have to do as clients as well. If you go somewhere, go to the salon, they do your hair, you don't like it, come back, call. Do it. I'm telling you, I would much rather you come back to me than go somewhere else. Or Ashley over at X, Y, and Z Salon did this to my hair and this is how it turned out. I would love to better it for you and be able to, change your opinion about it. So kudos to you for going back there. But yeah, don't be afraid to call back and get things fixed. So what I would do in this situation is obviously re-bleach your hair, and probably highlight it up here to kind of blend everything in. And this is where like balayage technique comes in, which a lot more people want balayage rather than just ombre. And so I would go about it and do it like that. And then I would take, a semi or a demi up at the top, have it all blend together nicely at the end when we're doing all the tonings. That line in there is what's the hardest. That line of demarcation, no matter what you're doing, is always the hardest to get through. So yeah, that's a tough situation. I just can't get over the 10K. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and especially putting on the darkest color possible. Like I said, from my understanding and what I'm reading, I just feel like that the stylist just wasn't very educated in what they were doing. And so, yeah, this is the outcome of it. And sometimes it does come up to laziness as well. So I am sorry that you had to go through this. But yeah, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. So what did we think? Were there any stories in here that kind of like struck you at all? Were you like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of a story that happened to me? Let me know down below in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear these stories. Also, if you don't mind me using them for anything, let me know as well. I will definitely feature you as well and put your name in there if that's okay. And oh my goodness, I did, like I said, I love the fact that we did have a nice one in there as well. That was really good to see. But oh man, I know I keep on saying it, but hearing that $10,000, oh my goodness, there's no way. But I mean, there could be. I do know people that charge like $600 for haircuts. Yeah, you heard me correct. $600 for a haircut, and that's not them blow drying it. That's you going to somebody else to get in your hair blow dried. But anyway. Yes, let me know in the comments below. What do you think of this? Do we enjoy this type of content? I feel like there's so much that I could talk on. I don't know if y'all can see me like brighten up when I talk about all this stuff, but it's just like the knowledge that comes in and comes through. I know what I'm talking about. I'm always going to say that your consultation with your clients, if you are a new stylist, and your personality is what's going to make you shine through the most as a stylist. Your consultation allows you to understand what you are about to do with your client, and your personality also is going to make or break whether or not they come back to you. And obviously results speak volumes as well. So don't think because you have a great personality that you could just fuck up somebody's hair, because that is not the case. But anyway, y'all, I do appreciate y'all for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're wanting more of these videos at all, please destroy that like button. Also subscribe over here if you would like to. And like I said, come follow me over on my streaming platforms. Everything, as always, is listed down in the description below, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.